What up, though? And welcome to the Boss Up Ball Live podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. It's your man, Curt Steele. Today we look at Brad Holmes' strategy, how it may look for the upcoming NFL draft. Like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All these things help us with that YouTube algorithm. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 3,000 subscribers, and we're currently at 2,778. And we now have channel memberships, so go check it out, man. It's on the homepage of the channel. It's another way to help us grow this channel. And as I promised, real soon, the merchandise store will be available for you guys. We're building it now, so it's coming to you guys real soon. You can get that Regal Lion and all the gear that's going to come with that, man. There's some different t-shirt designs and things of that nature. So it's coming to you soon, man. Now it's time to bring in my co-host for today. Y'all know him. Y'all love him. Ladies want him and men want to be him. He is the sole proprietor and creator of the Tupperware T-shirt exchange. You bring Tupperware, you leave with a shirt. Man, it's the Yam Master himself, LL Cool. Tell us what's going on, my dude.
Happy Monday, y'all. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
And y'all know who it is with that draft, because he's always talking about the draft right now, man. It's the hardest working man down there in Jackson, Michigan. He's cooking meals. He's coaching kids. He's running fades. He's cutting fades. Man, he volunteered, all that stuff down there in Jackson, man. It's the Wolf and Lion who?
Coach Mike Jones. What's going on, Lion fans?
If you are new to the channel and you don't know how the show works, we look at Detroit Lions news, headlines, or takes. If we agree, we say they are bossed up, do that blade dance. If we disagree, we say they are balled on, and we give our takes on why we agree or disagree. No hot takes here, just natural debate and our true thoughts and opinions about what's going on with our favorite team, the Detroit Lions. We don't Nick right over here. We don't Skip Bayless. We don't Stephen A. Smith. We don't just be saying stuff to be saying. We keep it 100, 100, 100. And if you don't realize we keep it 100, just check the LS face, man. He don't agree with something. He gonna tell you we keep it 100. He be like, man, please. Anyway, man. But hey, man, thank you guys for starting your week off with us right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, and we're gonna get into a good discussion this morning. My man, Coach Jones, man, what do you got to talk about this morning?
Yeah, talking about this NFL draft and what we should expect, especially with the first couple of picks of the draft, man. I know in the past, when they took over in 21 and 22, 23, it was just take the best talent available, right? Regardless of position, it was the best talent available. We were so deprived of talent on this roster from the Fatty Patty era, and that's Matt Patricia, and Bob Quinn too. I wouldn't say Bob Quinn did such a horrible job because he did draft part two of our 5 offensive linemen that we have right now. So, but he didn't do the greatest of jobs in the draft. So, but that era in Detroit Lions history totally wiped us of any talent that we had. So I understand Brad was like, I'm just drafting the best player available. I mean, we need a hero on this team. But now, as we enter in a new era in Detroit, like we are Super Bowl front runners in the NFC last year and this year coming up. So with that being said, I think personally, now it's just me, that maybe it's time to change that draft strategy a little bit. And what I mean is taking the best talent available may not be the best option available. And what I mean is what if you get to pick 28 and the best player available is a wide receiver, or the best player available is a quarterback, or the best player available is another cornerback, or the best player available is a tight end. Do you take that player at 28? I would think not. Me personally, I think it's time that we target certain positions, and especially in the first round, where you need that guy to come in and make an immediate impact. And there's only two spots on this team where you can make an immediate impact, and that's defensive end and interior offensive line. I think those positions are the only two positions that you can really come in. You can really make a first round worthy impact. So, with that being said, I do think it's time that we stray a little bit away from Brad Holmes' original draft strategy, because his original draft strategy was needed in a team that just lacked the talent that the Detroit Lions lacked. But now that it's going to get harder for these first round picks to make the team, I think now is the time when you start targeting certain players. And if that player is not available at 28, or you don't want to move up to go get that player, I think it's time that you trade back in the draft and just not take a player based off of, oh, he was the best player available, so we had to grab this quarterback up. I just really feel that, you know what, it's time that we target players. I know Brad said he doesn't do that. They always look at the best talent available, but I mean, I think it's time, man. I really do think it's time. So I need to know how y'all feel about that. Do y'all feel that it's time for us to target positions, or do we take the best talent available regardless of position?
All right. I'll say this. I think Brad's draft strategy really has been a hybrid of both best player available and position of need since he's been the general manager of the Lions. And I don't think that'll change anytime soon. Brad kind of sticks to his guns. But if you look at a player like Penei Sewell, right? Penei Sewell was the best player available, and it was a position of need for the Detroit Lions. You can say the same thing about Aiden Hutchinson. You can say the same thing about Jahmyr Gibbs. And most of the guys he's taken in the early rounds have been positions of need and the best player available for that. Look at last year. Terry Arnold was a position of need, and at the time, he was the best cornerback on the board. So I think it'll be more of that going forward in Green Bay next month. The one thing I will say that differs about the Lions than other teams when it comes to the best player available, it's the best player available for Detroit. So, like, whoever they draft has to be a player that fits the scheme and the culture of the team. So, with that being said, I don't think his draft strategy is going to change. I think it's going to kind of stay the same with what he does. I think he does target players. I think that he can say he doesn't, but they have a draft board, and they have the guys and the names up there listed.
Right.
Like, bro, we ain't stupid. We might be a little bit crazy sometimes as Lions fans, but we ain't stupid. we know what you're doing. We can see that you have a list of players that fit the scheme and fit what you want to do in Detroit. And if they're available, then they're their next guy. Look at Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Jahmyr Gibbs was they said we took him too high, but he was exactly what we needed and exactly what we wanted in Detroit as far as the running back position. And now people are saying, like, he was the best player available at the running back position. And now you're talking about him against Bijan Robinson. You look at their numbers, he has the same amount of yards or just about with less carries. So they're saying that he's a better running back in the NFL than Bijan Robinson right now at the time. So I think it's a hybrid of best player available and position of need. Plus, they got to fit the team and fit the scheme. So what you got, LL?
I think that, I agree with both of you guys. But Brad Holmes, over the last, I want to say every single draft we saw him make some kind of a trade, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't really know what to expect. I don't know if he'll stay at 28. I personally think he'll trade up. I'm probably wrong, but he showed us that he would do that the last couple drafts. So that's kind of what I'm looking to. That's what I'm expecting. A trade up because they will target a player, maybe if not a player, maybe a position, but I think they'll trade up. Last year they traded up for Terrion. The year before that they traded back with Gibbs, and if I'm not mistaken, the year before that we traded up to get J-Mo. So I'm expecting more of that kind of stuff. It's going to be a trade in some kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, and to say he may not target specific. I think he does target specific players. I think he targeted Gibbs the year he drafted him. He that was a target because he was like, that's a weapon, and I want that guy. But he does target positions of need as well. You look at last year, he back-to-back cornerbacks. Look at what happened when they drafted Levi and Lee McNeil. They targeted the interior defensive line, right? So he has a way to do it without doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'll say I'm not targeting a position, but you double up. So we know damn well that you targeted.
I have a question now. This is a question for y'all. If Brad Holmes does move up, okay, in the draft, and he doesn't take a pass rusher, how will you feel about that?
If he takes a standout offensive lineman, I'm fine. If he takes a guy that's a high projected interior offensive lineman, I'm good with it. Because if it's a guy who may be slipping into a team that we know these are interior offensive linemen and we know we have that need, and he goes up and grabs them, like, you know what I'm saying, just say like Green Bay, he keeps beating Green Bay to the punch of a lot of players. So if Green Bay is need of a player and we go up and jump Green Bay, I'm fine with it. What you got, Love?
Like usual with some of this stuff, I have to wait and see. I probably wouldn't, depending on what he trade up to draft. If he draft like a wide receiver, I'd be pissed.
Hell yeah, no.
but it would still be
it has to make sense.
You know what I'm saying? Let's see what's But in the moment, I would not be happy.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ella. It has to make sense. You ain't finna trade up to draft a long snapper. Might
be a weapon.
Yeah, might be a weapon. Hey, man, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All these things help us with that YouTube algorithm and get this content to more Detroit Lions fans like yourself. Make sure you check out our brothers and sisters over there on Lions Nation Unite, man. Great content over there as well. We mix in with the heavyweights over there, my man, Ant from Road Lions UK. So make sure you go over there and check out Lions Nation Unite, man. They do a great job with the content over there, man. So now it's time to get into, and I saw this article on Pride of Detroit, and I was thinking about it anyway. I'm like, kind of looking at, I'm like, okay, we got a new cornerback room, but did we really improve it? Did we get better? Did we get worse? Did it stay the same? Well, I kind of read the article over there on Pride of Detroit, man. I kind of agree with the assessment what they had over there. All right, so did the Lions cornerback room get better? So let's look at what happened, and let's kind of compare the 2024 cornerback room to the 2025 cornerback room. All right, so you look at what's going on here. Carlton Davis, DJ Reed. Okay, let's look at it. All right, because that's the big changes. We had three big changes on that in the cornerback room. All right, so and then you had, of course, Terry Arnold is the same. He's still the number 2 cornerback. Meek Robinson still is on that roster. And then you got Emmanuel Mosley and then Ennis Rakestraw. Rakestraw was there last year, but I think he's due to step up this year. And then you have really Emmanuel Mosley versus Avante Maddox. That's the real change. Like, we'll get into that in a minute. Kendall Vildor versus Rock Ya-Shin. Khalil Dorsey is back on the roster, and then you had Stephen Gilmore and Craig James versus, and I swear I thought this was a typo. The dude's name is Stanley. I thought it was Stanley, but no, it is Stanley Thomas Oliver. So, I think he'll be, how to do that, the name battles. So I think he'll be up there to win that this year, along with Rock Ya-Shin. Okay, Stanley. Woo. Okay, so let's kind of comes down to the 3 main changes I talked about here in a second. DJ Reed versus Carlton Davis, Vontae Maddox versus Emmanuel Mosley, and Kendall Vildor versus Rock Ya-Shin. All right, so Reed and Davis are pretty much neck and neck in terms of talent. I do like Reed's cover skills. He's a tight, sticky guy. Davis is better against the run because he's got that size and toughness to help against the run. He's just a better run defender than DJ Reed. Davis got that big payday out there in free agency, but some people think they is a more of a value. But do we look at it right? ESPN had DJ Reed ranked as a higher free agent cornerback than Carlton Davis. So I think that's really close. So I think that's a push right there, just because each of them brings something different as far as what they bring to the roster. And it's kind of both kind of like evens out. So when you look at the next two, Maddox compared to Mosley, Maddox is the win, right? Why? This is because he's healthy. I mean, you look at this, man. Maddox has had his share of injuries, but he played an entire season in 2024. Mosley ain't played an entire season in the last few years, so he just been sitting on the Lions roster, and they kept bringing him back, and he just been sitting there. Even last year when he was actually playing, I think he played like 8 games last year, and he really didn't get a lot of run. And I think that they were trying to make it where he can make his way onto the roster and be a significant contributor. But and I think that's one of the reasons why they set down Rakestraw early last year. But I think that Rakestraw could have played last year, but they wanted to give Mosley a shot. That's just my conspiracy theory on Mosley last year. Now here is the controversial, because I know LL gonna make a face when I put him back on camera. Kendall Vildor was a steady veteran for the Lions. He's had his issue in coverage at times, but he's played solid. He wasn't the worst cornerback for the Lions, but he wasn't the best cornerback for the Lions. Now, I will say this. I have liked Rock Ya-Sin's game. I followed him for a few years. And the reason being because I like his name. I mean, like Rock Ya, like, man, that's a tight name. But he can be sticky in coverage. He has decent size, right around 6 foot, 5'11". Now, here's where they differ and where it could be a little bit of a push. Vildor is slightly better in run support, where Rock Ya-Sin is a tad bit better in pass coverage. So I'm going to say it's a push as well. So I think in the end, it seems like a wash. It ain't a bad thing, because I think the depth is a little bit better than last year, but it has its kind of ebbs and flows as far as what you're getting from the new guy versus the old guy. I think if the injuries happen like they did last year, I think they can hold it together like they did. I think the biggest thing that's going to be a difference maker, if it's going to be a better cornerback room this year versus last year, is the development of Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. Can these guys step their game up this season and be better contributors, right? Can Terrion Arnold, limit his defensive holdings and pass interferences? Can Ennis Rakestraw challenge for a starting spot in the nickel, or can he just play his way onto the field? So that's going to be a telling factor in the Lions cornerback room. Is it going to be better in 2025 than it was in 2024? I mean, if you look at it player for player, it's about the same, which isn't a bad thing. Like I said, it's because if you look at the beginning of the season, man, the Lions defensive back room, or the cornerback room, was straight. Yeah. And here's the stat that most people still fail to realize, that the Lions gave up the second least amount of receiving touchdowns in the league last year. So looking at that, man, what do you guys think? Is the cornerback room better, worse, or about the same as it was last year? I'm going to let LL finish. Why I'm here fake, because I'm going to let the defensive coach go last. What you got, LL, on the defensive back room? I know you got something to say about the one cat. So what you got?
Well, who was I can't even remember who it was.
You got Carlton Davis versus DJ Reed.
No. When I was sending y'all the updates, like whenever we was.
Oh, you were saying everybody was a Kendall Vildor. It was Rock Ya-Sin. It was Maddox.
So that's kind of, and in that, I mean, of course, I just mean Vildor wasn't that good in some of our eyes, so I'm just calling them guys the same. But I guess if we go on off of last year versus this year, I'm gonna go this year just simply because we got a couple more healthier guys that can play, if right now, or we be more available right now. And the big name that stuck out on the other list was Emmanuel Mosley. Never actually got to, see him get anything going for real. You said he played 8 games. I had no idea of that. I know I saw him a couple of games like toward the end of the year, but like just out there,
He's playing special teams most of the time. That's why you didn't see him, because he only plays special teams. Uh-oh.
Right. So, but I didn't. I didn't know, but yeah, no, I'm if we're picking out of the two, I'm gonna pick this year, like I said, just because we have more available bodies. But I'm not too excited about a couple of those. Well, more so about Rocky Yashin. Yeah, he get beat a lot, so I don't really whatever. We gonna find it out. And Avonte Maddox, he get, he same. So that's what I meant by Vildors as well. They get. I saw Vilder get ran around a lot. So hopefully these two gentlemen won't suffer the same fate.
All right, Coach Jones, what you got on the cornerback room for this year?
Man, it's so hard for me. I can't give you a blade dance. I can't give you a ball down. I really don't know. Just because, I mean, from the fact that we don't know exactly what DJ Reed is going to bring. We don't know what DJ Reed is going to be when he's a CB1. You know what I'm saying? When he's a guy that that he's gonna have to travel with a guy. I think and Sauce Gardner was there. He locked down one side of the field, and DJ had locked down the other side of the field. Um, so when you have to travel with guys, how is that gonna affect you? So I can't say that he's gonna be better or worse than Carlton Davis. That's just a projection. So when it comes down to it, it comes down to the development of Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. And you would have to think that their second year is going to be better than their rookie season. You would think that they, them both being competitors, them both learning, them both putting in the work as they show on social media, that they have to take a step further or forward. So they'll be better in that aspect. Well, I don't want to take it for granted. I don't want to take that Kendall Vildor for Rocky Yassin for granted because when you take stuff for granted, you make an ass out of yourself. So I'm just, that's yet to still be seen. With that ordeal. So right now for me, it's a wash. And really, like you said, Curt, in the beginning of the season, as long as we stay healthy, then we're fine on the back end. I don't know if that height will be something that is kind of in the red zone. How that will hold up. So I'm still one that's kind of like, I don't want them to play over the top. So. Yeah, it's unknown right now because they're unproven and it's just a projection. So as of right now, I cannot say neither.
Okay, I feel you on that. I think the one thing that will help the cornerback room, and it's not the pass rush, is actually the two safeties back there. I think that they're going to be if they start the season off healthy, we get Brian Bratz healthy because he had a little injury toward the end of the season last year in the playoff game. I think once he comes back and he's healthy, and he can go back to the safety position. I like them two back there roaming around, making hits, and what I'm saying, and
making plays.
You're making plays on the ball. So I think that really was the big thing that was at the beginning of last season was the play of the safeties, and they kind of separated themselves as one of the best safety duos in the league last year, and that was early on in the season where they submitted themselves as snatch and grab, seek and destroy, whatever they call them guys, Batman or Robin or whatever it is, man, or Batman, Superman, whatever, man. Yeah, they definitely did their thing, and I think if that's going to contribute to the cornerback room and what they can do, especially down the field when you have those bigger guys that that try to box them out, especially in the red zone. You got a guy like Kirby Joseph that can come over and help, and help in that position. So, and then you can stick some guys underneath on some of those tight ends. So, I like the defensive back room as a whole, not just the cornerback room. I think that it's going to help those cornerbacks, and I think for real, with Terrion Arnold, I see him elevating his game. I see him getting better. That's the type of guy he is, with the work he's putting in. But I would say this about Terrion Arnold. He was sticky in coverage last year. His problem was, and it's the same thing with most Alabama cornerbacks, he has a problem with getting his head turned. He had a problem getting his head turned around to make plays on the ball because he was right there. So you're getting handsy because you're not relying on your eyesight and you just kind of feel the receiver out. And you can't play that handsy type of coverage in the pros as you do at Alabama because you don't get that ass flagged in the league. So, so hey man, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All these things happens with the YouTube algorithm, man. Make sure you check out my man Coach Jones over there on the Wolverine Sports Talk, man, and his YouTube channel, and he does some shorts over here and that Beyond the Ropes boxing playlist, man. We got some big fights coming up last week, man. You had an up and coming champion that was supposed to be doing her thing, and she got her title taken this weekend. Scott Nicholson got that title taken on, man. So make sure you check out Beyond the Ropes boxing playlist, man. He does a great job. Some big fights coming up here in the near future. And LL, he does his thing over there on his My Hot Media, man. So make sure you check him out over there as well. We're gonna leave it at that until later on, man. But here comes LL to the stage talking about a defensive lineman that could play a big role if he steps it up in 2025. What you got, LL?
Yes. Just I wanted to ask the question: what about Josh Pascal? I think all of us up here like him. I think we all spoke, pretty decent of him. But in one of the last couple of shows, Coach Mike had a segment on players that need to step up, or who, in opinion, who he thought needed to step up. And I think that this gentleman is one of those. Not sure as far as like numbers wise. I'm not sure if that will ever be there, but he definitely does play a role on this team. He definitely fits in our defense. Over the last, last year he played in the most games of his career. He played 14 and started the most. He started 10. Probably a lot of that was out of necessity, but last year he only he had 2 sacks. That ties a career high. When his rookie year, he had 2 sacks. And 5 tackles for loss. Just as a rotational defensive end, those are pretty decent numbers. I feel like his impact is felt a lot more than what those numbers will ever show. But I believe that, it's an opportunity for him to, step up and become exactly what we need. We got a few guys to play outside of Hutch. We didn't threw all the other names out there. We've even asked about bringing Laura Zed back. But, I think it might be a time for Josh Pascal to step into some of those shoes. Let's see, a better season. I don't know what those numbers might look like. Like I said, he played in 14 and started 10 and only got 2 sacks. Well, and had 2 sacks. I don't want to say only, but had 2 sacks and things like that. So, will it be more than that? Like, will the playtime increase? Will the numbers increase? Or will the playtime stay the same or decrease because of whoever we may end up bringing in? But will the impact still be the same? He is a like I said, he does fit our defense. I like him on the edge. He sets a nice edge. You know what I'm saying? He tackles well. And he scares people. Like you can see when he pressures, when he chases people, it works. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't get there a whole lot, but at least he is doing his job. He'll get the guy to step up or to step to the side. Just get the quarterback to move into a position where we can take advantage of it. So, what do you guys think about Josh Pascal? Is it time for him to step up? Is he going to step up? Do we need him to step up? Is this the type of player that will his role increasing help us or hurt us? What do you guys think?
I like Josh Pascal. I can't say that I don't like Josh Pascal. I like what he brings to the Detroit Lions. I like his versatility. He can play interior. He can play on the edge. I think he is what he's supposed to be in Detroit. To be honest with you, I think he was supposed to be a kind of a filler in. I don't think they drafted him to start. Like, I think they drafted him to be a depth defensive line player because he's so versatile. We can play, like I said, interior and on the edge. I like what he brings. He has a level of toughness that the Lions like. I like the fact that last year he played more games, kind of like a Levi Onwuzurike, kind of played more games than he ever did in 2024 than he did in previous years. And I think that can continue. Is he a long-term fit in Detroit? I'm not sure. I'm not saying that he is. I'm not saying that he's not. But I like Josh Pascal. I like what he brings. Does he need to turn it up a little bit? I'll say a little bit. Yeah, when he gets in, I say I would like to see a little bit more from him. Is it like, do I think he's going to have a Hutch type of season? Absolutely not, because he's not a Hutch type player. But if he can, get his production up, and it will make the whole defensive line a little bit better. But I think that once we get Hutchinson back and we can mix him in with Hutch, I think his number will go up, because teams like we already know, like when teams have to focus on Hutch, it lets other guys eat. And we missed that last year, where we couldn't generate a pass rush. We had to do blitzes because we didn't have that one guy who would absolutely demand double teams on the edge. So I'm good with Josh Pascal. I would say turn it up a little bit, but like I ain't saying that you try to play out of this world, and then you end up hurting your teammates because you're not doing your job.
All right. Me personally, I'm gonna say it's a boss up with contingency. But you know what? Asking, because Pascal was a second round pick. Let's not get it twisted. He was a second round pick. So but the thing is Pascal's tool set, like what he has in his toolbox, is not what a lot of Lions fans want on the edge. And he's another one of those guys who plays interior and who goes out to the edge. And I think we have a lot of those guys on this roster. So when speaking from, what do we want more production out of him? I don't think he can have any more production in the interior. I think what he's done in the interior is what he can do. And him on the edge, I don't know if he has in his toolbox to be an edge guy, to be a pass rusher, I'm going to say. I think he can set the rush lanes on the edge, but I don't know if he can get to the quarterback like that off the edge. So while we do have a lot of guys like Levi that can go inside, outside, I think we need a guy who can just play outside. And I know that Brad Holmes doesn't really like those type of guys, kind of those one-trick ponies. That's why, James Houston was in the doghouse for so long. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to help the cornerbacks, right? We can't just put them on an island and be like, hey, y'all got to defend these top echelon receivers. Like, at some point in time, we have to get to the quarterback. And as of right now, he's not a get into the quarterback type of guy. He's a set the run lane type of guy. He's so I'm up. Hands is kind of like this with it, because he is a depth piece. He is a crucial part of what the Lions are doing on defense. But at the same time, he doesn't put you over the top, or he doesn't get you over the hump. He's just another cog in the gear. And for a second round pick, that's just being another guy as a D lineman, a second round pick. You got to step it up. So will his sack numbers improve? Probably not. Even with Hutch coming back, probably not, because that's just not, and he hasn't shown me that to be in his tool belt. So yeah, that's my take on that.
All right. Hey, I get what you're saying. Like, I think he fits the need of what they want him to do. Like, run support and set the edge. I think he does what they're asking him to do. And like you said, like you're not going to see him with a array of pass rush moves on the edge. He's more of a bull rush guy. Power. You know what I'm saying? So that's how he gets to the quarterback. So, but you're not going to see him out there. You know what I'm saying? Doing spin moves, chop moves. He ain't been doing swim moves and nothing like that. That's just who he is. So, but hey, yeah, but
cool.
yeah, so, but he's got the strength for that. So but I think he plays to his strength, and I think they ask him. It's going to be interesting to see what Casey Rogers can he add to his development this season. So it's all good, man.
Yeah,
hey, man,
he better talk to Marcus Davenport about that one arm. That one hand, he just jacks that guy back in the neck.
That's one thing I would say. One thing I would say about people talk about a lot of, and we all know the reason why we talk about Davenport is because he can't say help you, man. But that dude, his power bull rush is serious. For real. But man, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All this just helps with that YouTube algorithm, man. Please subscribe to the channel, man. We're on our way to 3,000 subscribers, man. Like I said, we're at 2778. Make sure you do something else for us. If you haven't done so already, make sure you Follow the crew on your favorite social media platforms. I talked about it earlier in the show. Coach Jones does a great job over there on Wolverine Sports Talk, and then the playlist over here and his shorts on this channel as well. Of course, I post content from this channel on all of my social media platforms, so make sure you check me out, man. I say some crazy things sometimes. I post some funny gifts, so make sure you check me out, especially on X. And of course, make sure you holler at your boy LL Cool Torrance on this my high media, man. He does a great job over there on his YouTube channel. He may catch out a fishing video or something like that. If you want to, make sure you check out his other Instagram page for Thirsty Thursdays, man, and all the other boom foolery that he has over there, the Yamage on his other Instagram page, man. The boom foolery, man. You know, because if he's going shenan once, he going shenan again. All right, time for final thoughts for today's show. Coach Jones, what you got, man?
Yeah, man. This is kind of football, man. My Michigan Wolverines, man. We in there. We got a date with number 1 Auburn. So yeah, it's about to go down in the Sweet 16, man. And if you haven't, check out March Madness. I'm a guy who originally loved basketball, who was originally a basketball guy, and of late in the last few years, I've kind of strayed away from basketball. I've kind of been like, but the Pistons and the Wolverines are rejuvenating my spirits. Are reminding me of my love for basketball, man. So, hey, man, check out March Madness, man. Check out them Detroit Pistons, man. It's a plug for y'all. Maybe y'all should throw a little money my way.
Yeah, shout out to the Lady Wolverines, man. They lost yesterday to Notre Dame, but they had a great season, man. Very young team, man. But they're gonna be up and coming. So make sure you check out the Lady Wolverines as they do their thing, man. And shout out to our Wolverines, man. The men hitting that Sweet 16. But all right, LL, man, what you got for the people today?
Both from Michigan and Michigan State on into the Sweet 16.
Look.
And
I don't talk about Sparty.
Yeah. but the women basketball, I know, fuck Notre Dame, but at least they lost to Notre Dame. What's the name? Hidalgo and the other young lady. I can't think the other name. But
Coach Ivy's team.
Oh, and the coach is a beautiful woman as well. But they lost to a good team. But have a great Monday, man. All of that good stuff is off season, so it's going to be a whole lot of stuff out there. We're getting closer and closer to the draft. So keep your head on your shoulders. Try not to just listen to too much foolishness, and have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, man, the boom foolery and the malarkey that goes on, man, on some of these shows. I'll be like, what in the hell are you talking about? Hey, for me, man, thank you for starting your work week off right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors, man. Have more stuff coming to you. Drafts coming up, man. I know LL gonna drop another mock draft here in a few days. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get that thing popping. But we're gonna look at some draft prospects, man. And then free agency isn't over yet. So we're gonna look at some guys that's still out there, man. I know I'm gonna take a look at some guys that are still available that Detroit may look at, you know what I'm saying? And because the price is gonna keep coming down the closer we get to the draft. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Brad Holmes is done quite making moves quite just yet. But if you're having a good day at work, make sure you spread that joy. You never know when a small word, an act of kindness can make a person's day, because they could be having the worst day, and that small word can take them into a better day. If you're not having a good day, don't sit on else's joy. And you know what you got to do for your man, Curt Steele. Whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, fall out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my fellas, LL Cool Torrance and Coach Mike Jones, this is Curt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon.